All right, let's talk about a tool that can honestly change the game in the classroom for pretty much everyone involved. The rubric. Now, if you're a teacher who's ever struggled with giving fair, consistent feedback, or if you've ever been a student just staring at a grade wondering, what does good even mean? You're in the right place. We're about to demystify rubrics and show you why they're a secret weapon for clarity. I mean, this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? We have all been there. You get feedback like, be more philosophical, and you're just stuck. What does that even mean? How do you do that? It's super frustrating for students, and honestly, it's a real headache for instructors who are just trying to be fair. This is what we're going to call the grading fog. And this grading fog is that murky, uncertain feeling when grades feel totally subjective. You know, like the goalposts are moving with every assignment. It's this common struggle where the path to an A is just not clear at all, and it leads to a ton of guesswork and anxiety for everybody. Yeah, and this really gets to the heart of it. When the expectations aren't spelled out, it creates this hidden curriculum. The standards are there, for sure, but they're invisible to the student. It's like you're playing a game, but nobody gave you the rule book. This makes grading feel unfair, and even worse, it blocks real learning because students can't see the target they're supposed to be aiming for.
So, how do we cut through this fog? Well, there's a simple but really powerful tool that's designed to bring transparency and fairness to the whole process. Let's talk about the rubric.
At its most basic, a rubric is just a chart, but its real power, it makes the invisible visible. It breaks down a big assignment into its most important parts, and then clearly describes what excellent looks like, what good looks like, and what needs work looks like for each of those parts. All of a sudden, that hidden curriculum is gone. It's just clear, shared expectations. And the benefits here are huge for everyone. For instructors, you're looking at grading that's way more consistent, fair, and, believe it or not, faster. For students, it's a roadmap. They know exactly what's expected from day one. They can use it to check their own work, and the feedback they get is finally specific enough to actually be useful. It is a genuine win-win.
Okay, but here's the thing. Not all rubrics are the same. They actually come in a few different flavors. And picking the right one really depends on what you're trying to accomplish with an assignment. So let's look at the main types so you can choose the best tool for the job.
So you've got the big three. First up is the analytic rubric. This is the classic grid you probably picture in your head. It breaks everything down, piece by piece, for super detailed feedback. It's perfect for those big, complex projects. Then you've got the holistic rubric. This one gives just a single overall score. It's great for quick checks or for creative work where you care more about the total impact. And finally, this single-point rubric. This one's interesting. It only describes what proficient looks like, leaving you space to write personalized comments about what went above and beyond or what still needs work. It's fantastic for focusing on individual growth. And here's a great look at that first type, the analytic rubric. See how it works? You've got your criteria, things like content or organization, listed down the side. Then, running across the top, you have the different performance levels. Each little box describes exactly what that level looks like for that specific part of the assignment. Super clear, right? No mystery at all. Okay, so you're sold. You want to use one, but how do you actually build a good one without getting totally overwhelmed? Well, it's actually more straightforward than you might think. It really just boils down to these 4 steps. First, you start with your goals. What's the point of this assignment? Second, you pick your criteria. What are the key things that show a student gets it? Third, you describe the different levels of quality. And fourth, and this is a big one, don't skip it. You test it out. Run a few examples through it and see if it works. Does it make sense? Is the language clear? A quick pilot test can save you a world of headaches later on. Now, that third step, describing the levels, this is where a rubric either succeeds or fails. The language has to be concrete. Vague phrases like good organization are basically useless. You have to get descriptive. So instead of good organization, you say something like, the essay flows logically with clear transitions. See the difference? It paints a picture. It gives students a clear target to aim for. Building a rubric from scratch is a fantastic exercise, but let's be real. In today's world, you don't have to start with a totally blank page. Modern technology, and especially AI, has completely changed the game here. Just look at this sample prompt. You're telling an AI chatbot who to be. You are an expert teacher, and then you give it the specifics about your class and the assignment. With a clear prompt like this, you can get a surprisingly solid draft of a rubric in like 30 seconds. It's not about replacing the teacher, it's about giving them an amazing head start. And that's the real power. A job that used to take hours of careful planning can now be jump-started in a matter of seconds. This frees you up, the human expert in the room, to do the important work of refining it, tweaking it, and making sure it perfectly matches your learning goals. It's the definition of working smarter.
And on top of that, most of the digital learning platforms out there have rubric tools built right in. You can easily import rubrics from a spreadsheet or even share them between courses. This saves a massive amount of time and helps create consistency, which is a huge plus.
So far, we've mostly talked about rubrics as a tool for grading. But honestly, if that's all you use them for, you're missing the best part. Their true potential goes so much deeper. The real magic happens when we shift our thinking and start seeing them not just as an evaluation tool, but as a learning tool. This quote absolutely nails it. When you give students the rubric at the very beginning of an assignment, it stops being a grading secret and starts being a guide. They can use it to check their own work, to give more helpful feedback to their classmates, and to really think about their own learning process. It empowers them to take ownership, and that's how they become better learners. And that's really the big idea we want to leave you with. A good rubric can change assessment from this top-down final judgment into an open, ongoing conversation about what quality work looks like and how we can get there together. It's a tool not just for grading work, but for guiding it. It's about building clarity and fairness right into the DNA of our classrooms. Thanks so much for tuning in.